Hello and welcome to my Web 2.0 application presentation over Storybird. So a brief description of what Storybird is. According to Storybird.com, it describes its product as follows. Storybird is a unique language arts tool. We use illustrations to inspire students to write stories, picture books for K through 5, long form chapter books for grades 5 through 9, and poetry for everything in between. So my definition of Storybird is that Storybird is a digital online tool for educators to use to encourage creativity, critical thinking, imagination, and improve literacy skills. So when we look at the rubric, based on our class rubric, this technology scored very high. For content or the TEKS, I scored it a 3 just because when we look at number 4, it does not provide level appropriate assessments pertaining to each content area. Everything else from depth to user-friendly, differentiation, progress monitoring, it meets all of those requirements there. Same thing for the finished product, learning goals, collaboration, and accessibility. With regards to security, I did score it a 1 simply because for a 4, it says an outside source moderates posting to avoid inappropriate or unwanted posts publicly. Because it is a student account, Storybird does not allow for students to post anything publicly, only through the teacher website. So getting started, let's go to storybird.com. And when we look at Storybird, you can sign in or sign up for free. I'm going to sign in using my school account, and it's as easy as selecting your Google account. So once I've signed in, you can click on Studio. And once you've clicked on Studio, here you can create your classes. So if you noticed, I've got my 2 classes based on the subjects that I teach, not necessarily the class periods. So when we look at adding a class is very easy. I won't walk you through the process because it's a very user-friendly website. Looking at the lesson, here's an example of adding a class. Again, you can create accounts for your students, which for me, that was the easiest because it provides the username and temporary password. When you are done, you can print their information. So that way it gives the student what their username is and what their temporary password is. I have an interactive notebook that we use. So I always require them to write their username and password information inside of it. So the lesson that I created for them was to create a story that is recalling an event that happened in their past, and they will develop a new outcome or ending to what happened. And so this was the handout that they received in class. I only did a class copy, a class set, so that they could see the directions step by step. I also included some sequencing words and transition words for them to use in Spanish, since this is for their Spanish class. And again, they received it via Google Classroom as well. Here you can see some pictures of what the students actually were working on in class. You can see it's easily available for them we have Chromebooks. I have a class set of Chromebooks, so they were able to log in right away and not waste any time as far as creating the accounts go. So what happens once they've created their stories? Here under classes, you can see all of the different students with their books. I don't have to go into each book individually. From here, I can look at all of the books that have been created. And I like that the story text gives what each page is going to have. When we look at the account, it's very easy for you to manage. If you have any questions, you can find me at mjuanita05@gmail.com.